welcome back to this Dialogue Web Extra. I'm Marcia Franklin. I'm here with Kristen Armstrong, who is an Olympic gold medalist and world champion in the sport of cycling, and wanted to talk a little bit more about proper nutrition. What do you recommend for people first for their overall diet, if you want to call it that, or nutrition?
You know, I think that diet and nutrition is very important. In fact, I take it just as seriously as I do my training on my bike. It's something you need to think about daily, because if you don't have the energy to exercise and you don't refuel your body every day, you can't continually drive yourself to your limits over and over and over. And so out in the media these days, in the magazines, they're all telling you that carbohydrates are bad, stay away from them. And we're getting the wrong message. And as an athlete, you need complex carbohydrates. Number one, you need to fuel yourself. You need to recover. And so one of my favorite foods actually to help refuel myself is, I'm not into store-bought bars and things that are processed. I try to really fit things in that are natural in my diet.
We got some pictures of some food there.
Yeah, one of my favorite recipes is the Parmesan potatoes. The Idaho potatoes are actually baked. We chop them up, we bake them, we put them in a little bit of olive oil and Parmesan, and I actually put them in tinfoil little pockets that go in my back pocket. And when I'm going on rides, long training rides, that's how I fuel myself. And I'm telling you, it's real easy, and it actually keeps your energy levels really high. And that's just one example of a complex carbohydrate. You know, after you're working out, you really need to focus on recovery. And that's when, like I had spoke before about drinking chocolate milk, but it's also about making sure you're completely rehydrate yourself. It's really eating within that 30-minute window. And if you miss that window, it starts to close. And if it closes, how do you expect to wake up the next day and have an optimal performance day or an optimal training day? So I think that we focus sometimes too much on our workout, riding our bike, riding our bike, riding our bike. But at the end of the day, you need to think about all the things that help you ride the bike.
So for meals, do you eat lots of little meals throughout the day, or do you eat the regular 3 large meals? How do you do that?
Personally, I actually eat the 3 large meals. I actually wake up and I think that breakfast is my biggest meal. It gets me going, it gets my metabolism going, and it fuels me to have a good bike ride. And so if I go out for 4 hours, then I don't need little meals because I'm eating on the bike. So if you want to consider that being one of my little meals, yes, I eat a little meal on the bike. And I fuel myself during the 4-hour duration, but when I get home, let's say I get on the bike at 9, get off at 1, I eat lunch around 2 o'clock, and I have a nice balance. I have a little bit of, normally it's a sandwich. It has a little bit of protein, it has the carbohydrates I need, and I like to also get some of my veggies in and fruit during that time. And then come dinner, I eat another well-balanced meal. That's when I put a lot of the spinach, trying to get as much iron as possible. If I'm feeling a little bit weaker, I'll actually have some meat or some red meat to fulfill the iron, but I'll always include a complex carbohydrate as well.
Here you are on one of these Tuesday night rides with the guys from one of the bike clubs here. Are there any no-nos, do you think, that people who are really want to be nutritionally fit should stay away from?
I have my own opinions on nutrition, and one of the strong opinions that I have is everything in moderation and everything in balance. I'm a very balanced eater, and so there's times you're going to have dessert, not every night, but you're going to have it, because I feel like if you take anything out of your diet, it's hard to put it back in. And I think that you have cravings that aren't needed. And I think that I try to take things away that aren't, I don't like processed food, so I really try to keep things natural. And I try to keep hydrogenation out of my diet. And so it's real simple. I'm not so concerned about the calories and the fat on the label. I actually look at the ingredients. And the shorter the list, the better. The longer the list, I stay away from. It's real simple.
Because some women in all sports, unfortunately, you notice that they seem to be almost anorexic, too thin. Is that one of the things you're going to talk about when you work with young women?
Yes, I think it's, oh man, I have a hard time with it, and it's really hard to be around. It's viral. You know, you have one anorexic gal on your team, and all of a sudden everyone's questioning what they're doing. And so I think that education is most important, and learning that the sport of cycling, and most sports in general, there's not just one body type that make it to the top. And I think it's really important to understand your genes and what you've been given, and to change that, it's very difficult. And if you do go over the limits of changing it, it's probably going to take you away from reaching your dreams and goals.
I know another thing that's important to you is not mono-training, for want of a better word, not just becoming obsessed with, say, cycling all the time, but branching out and doing other things during different seasons, or just kind of mixing it up, right?
Well, I think that for everyone in general, whether you're young or you're older, I think that having off seasons and having seasons where you're doing a different activity is very important, not only mentally, but physically. It keeps your body strong in all aspects. It allows you to do things rather than just go in one motion. Your pedals going back and forth. You know, it's nice to go up in Nordic ski, skate ski, and get your hips to open up a little more. Use your upper body. Swimming's another good one that's not hard on your body. But at the end of the day, I think that with kids, you have to keep variety in their life. They don't know what they're good at yet. And I find that when you start a sport at age 7 to 10, and you're doing it year-round, by age 15 and 16, you're ready to quit. And you're not having fun with it anymore. And if you haven't had a variety in your life growing up, I find that once you do quit, you normally don't go to another outlet. You're done. And so I think that you're cutting yourself short. I like to live in Boise for that one reason, not just one, but one of the many reasons I live in Boise is because it has 4 seasons. It forces me, come November, it forces me to take a little bit of downtime. And if I lived in California where it was sunny all year, I'd be burnt out like 4 years ago. I'd be riding double. I would have definitely been burnt out 4 years ago. So I think it's important to really get your body moving in different directions and not become so obsessed with one activity.
And what's your pitch for cycling for people? I mean, you know, there are people who are afraid of it. My mother, for instance, she's going to kill me for me saying this, but she never learned how to bicycle. Yeah. She was too afraid.
Yes.
So I did that with my father. But there are other people like that. I know another person who's too afraid to get on a bike. What's your pitch for cycling, and why it's good fitness and fun?
The pitch for cycling is we're so lucky this day and age. There's bikes for everyone. So you see somebody on a skinny tire, you're like, whoa, that's not cycling. That's one aspect of cycling. There's actually bikes out there. My mother and my father hadn't ridden bikes for years. We got them bikes one year where when you sit on the bike, your feet actually touch the ground. So you have that balance. And that's one of the biggest things people are scared of, is the balance and getting a flat tire. And so
that's me.
Exactly. It's common. And
flat tire.
You know, it's neat because the cycling industry used to be so male dominant, and now stores such as George's Cycles, they have women working in all their stores. And so when you walk in there and you're looking for a bike, you have someone you can talk to. It's actually not as intimidating as people make it.
And very, very important to get a good bike fit. Go to somebody and make sure, because you can buy the bike, you hurt on it, but it's because it's not fit correctly.
It's very important to get a bike fit, and that the comfort on the bike and the fit is going to help you get on the bike and enjoy it. And a lot of times we don't enjoy riding our bikes. I've had people go to the YMCA and spend classes and say, I'm never getting on a thing again. And I'm like, well, why? And I look at what they're wearing and I'm like, well, I know why. It hurt. And so if you can actually have some comfort in it,
right,
and learn that, you know, you wear shorts with a little bit of padding in it, you actually might come back to it. And so I really strongly encourage...
Some people just can't get over that Lycra thing.
No,
though.
I know. And there's actually shorts out there now that aren't Lycra.
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, 10 years ago, I told everyone, I don't care what body type you have, you don't belong in the gym in Lycra. It's wrong. Who developed Lycra? And here I am. I spend more time in Lycra than I do my normal clothes.
So as we wrap up here, last time I talked to you on this show, you hadn't met Lance Armstrong yet.
Oh, yes, that's true.
You have, haven't you?
Yes, I have. And he's a great guy. I think that he does a lot for the sport. And I commonly get asked if we're related. It's inevitable. But at the end of the day, hey, if that's who people think I'm related to, I have no problem with it.
Well, especially interesting since his ex-wife is named Kristen
Yes,
Armstrong,
I know.
too.
We actually get a lot of her emails. So, you know, supposedly I've written books, I have kids. It's great. I have a couple different lives.
Well, you are planning, hopefully, to have a family, as I understand it, right?
Yeah, that's part of the next chapter.
And would you want them to ride bikes?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably learn at a young age, very young.
Well, thanks so much for taking this additional time to talk a little bit more about conditioning on the bicycle. I really appreciate it. You've been listening to Olympic gold medalist and world champion Kristen Armstrong. Thanks for tuning into this Dialogue Web Extra. I'm Marcia Franklin.